Greetings from the Sasakawa Peace Foundation. This is Dr. Emadul Islam, and it is very pleasure to me to introduce very renowned professor who is working in the plastic pollution and negotiation issues, Professor Maria Ivanova. She is director of the School of Public Policy and Urban Affairs, Northeastern University, Boston. Thank you so much for your time. So Professor Maria Ivanova is a very pioneer in this field, and she is a climate activist and environmental scientist and policy activist, and she is also the very pioneer in the Rwanda negotiations and many other international events. So today is the last day of intergovernmental negotiation treaty, which called the INC-5, where the almost 3,000 of stakeholders from all over the world join to develop a internationally legally binding treaty to eliminate the plastic pollution in the marine environment. So, Professor Ivanova, it's very pleasure for us from the Sasakawa Peace Foundation to give your time. My first question is, what is your assessment of the progress made during the INC-5 negotiations?
Thank you very much, Emadul, for having me, for having a conversation with me here at INC-5. Progress has been difficult. I have witnessed this developments from day zero when we started at the UN Environment Assembly in Nairobi in March of 2022, and this was supposed to be the last of the negotiations. We will see in a few hours whether governments will say this is it, or whether we will have to have one more meetings. Progress has been slow. Progress has been difficult, and the treaty has been challenging and somewhat divisive among the different countries. We have seen coalitions develop with the High Ambition Coalition, led by Rwanda and Norway. We have seen the like-minded countries that are saying this is a difficult treaty, and we are seeing a number of different actors, whether it's the United States or the European Union. So, in summary, progress is slow, progress is difficult, but progress is being made.
And thank you so much for your observation. Yes, I also agree with you. The progress is very slow and it's difficult to consensus. So since, do you feel optimistic that number of member countries will reach consensus in the legal treaty?
We will have an agreement. Whether countries agree right now here in Busan, or we have a space to actually discuss and figure out what the treaty articles will be seen today. And my prediction will be that we will go to INC 5.2, but we will close at INC 5 with a text from the chair that provides the foundation, the floor for the negotiations that will likely need to be extended a little bit, because at the moment there are various opinions, a lot of text is in brackets, and so we will need one more session to finalize this. But I see countries converging, there is goodwill, and my opinion is that we will get a treaty, and it will be a treaty that we can strengthen over time.
Yes, and thank you so much. So looking ahead, could you share your expectations from the treaty?
So I was thinking a few days ago as I arrived and was listening to countries that there are three options. One, listening to the divisive debates, no agreement. Two, seeing the High Ambition Coalition and where they want it to be, I thought maybe we need an agreement that brings the coalition of the willing, those countries that want to have a very ambitious agreement, and maybe that will require that we get out of the United Nations for a minute and then come back in, much like the landmine agreement, the Ottawa Convention. So that kind of coalition of the willing text or treaty was a possible option. And number three, that we figure out the consensus pathway to agree where countries are drawing red lines, but to start with product design, with life cycle assessments, with the circular economy, and with more efficiency and waste management. So I think that today we might see some combination of the latter two, and I look forward to seeing that. I would also say that what we need here in this treaty is leadership from the middle out. And that means leadership from cities, leadership from companies, and leadership from universities, from campuses. There are many cities where we can commit to being ambitious, and we can start working right away. We don't have to wait for a final treaty. We don't have to wait to ratify it. We can continue working because that work has already begun in cities around the world, in many companies around the world, and we have seen their call here in Busan, and also on many, many campuses across the world. And this is something that I look forward to working with you in making this combined leadership effort of leadership from the middle out.
Oh yes, thank you so much for your very thought-provoking sharing. And as I mentioned earlier, the Professor Ivanova is a very pioneer in the plastic pollutions treaty and the policy, and she already leading this initiative from his academic rigor and also the practical rigor. So on behalf of Sasakawa Peace Foundation, Japan, I must thank you again, and hopefully we will work together for better future and better art and better planet where everyone live together with our biodiversity and everything.